Hello, friends, and welcome to the Friend Leigh Show. I am your host and friend, Leigh. I'm just laughing because I started the show and didn't realize that I had it, even though I've been doing this for years. For some reason, I hit go live, and then you have to hit go live again. And I forgot to do that, and I just got right into it. And then I realized, oh, there's no red live button at the top. Anyway. Okay, so how are you guys doing? I haven't really talked to you. If you only watch the show and you don't come over to the happy circle or do any of the other things with us, then I haven't seen you in a week. So how's your week been? If you're new to the show and this is your first time coming, hello. And I wanted to find out where you guys heard about me from. So was it a friend that told you to come on over, or did you see it some other way? I'd really, really love to know. So if you are new, this show, we run it a little bit differently than some other podcasts. So we always record this portion live. So every Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, we come live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitch. And you get to be a part of the show. So if you make a comment, then you automatically not automatically, I have to pull up your comment, but you become a part of the show. And so your comments, your experiences, your questions, all of that shape today's episode. So I'm really, really excited. And what we do is every month we have a different series that we do. So we pick a theme basically, and then we talk about that theme through the lens of one of the happy framework pillars. And so today is actually the last day that we're going to be talking about this series, acceptance. And so we've already talked about health, affection for yourself, purpose, partnerships. And today we're going to be talking about youthfulness. So I think it's going to be a really good conversation. It's definitely something that I need to be reminding myself of. I think it's the only thing that's keeping me sane through this season of my life. My husband / fiance hates it when I call it a season. He's like, what does that even mean? And I try to explain it to him, and he's a therapist, but he's still just like, why do you say that? Anyway, it is this season of my life. And, for those of you guys that follow us, you know that it's been like a really heavy year so far, 6 months. And youthfulness, playfulness, curiosity, that's what's really gotten me through. I do the happy framework, and I do the kind of check-in every single day. That helps me. But sometimes certain pillars help you more so in different times of your life. And I'm finding that youthfulness really is the thing that's lightening me up. So not lighting me up, although it does, but it's lightening me up. So this heaviness that I'm feeling, I'm able to get released because Mike and I we laugh every single day. I don't know that I've ever been around that man and haven't laughed. And we sing and we dance and we do all of just these silly things. We live in a condo, and we've got we live in underground. No, we don't live in the underground parking, but we've got an underground parking spot. And we always end up making weird noises because they echo and we think it's hilarious. I live in a dog-free or pet-free apartment. And we're really sad because we really want to have a puppy. So we just find it funny to pretend that we're dogs. So we'll make dog noises or cat noises. Usually it's me, actually. I'm the instigator on that. But I think it's funny. I think it's just so, and I want to I don't know why. Anyway, so those are just some of the things that I do to lighten the mood. So, hey, Mel is in the house. Hey, beautiful. Okay, so there you go. So that's exactly how you would come up on the show. So you can watch the show every week in your pajamas. We're not going to pull you up on video, but if you do make a comment, you become a part of the show. So if you're watching live, let me know. If you're watching in the replay, let me know so that I know. And, we may see that there's a surge of a certain time that you guys are watching it, and maybe we'll edit the time that we do the show. It's all about you guys. So And that's the only way I'm going to know when you're watching. So anyway, so now at the beginning of the show, what I like to do is I kind of think about some things that I want to kind of share with you guys. I am a happiness coach, like certified. So I do like to share some things that you may be just kind of tapping into the audio version just for some information. And then the next part of the show, you share your experiences, your questions, your comments. Did you agree with something I said? Did you not agree with something that I said? And we get to have the conversation as if you're sitting in my living room. I'm also going to have clearly a hard time speaking English today. I've been having that all day long. I don't know what it is. I think it's just been a little bit of a higher stress day, but I was talking to the nurses and I'm like, I'm so sorry if I'm not even making sense, because I'm like 2 steps ahead of every question that I want to ask. So I'm like asking 2 questions in one. So if that happens with you guys, please give me grace, and we'll just carry on with the show. So like I said, today we're going to be talking about acceptance, and through the lens of the happy pillar, youthfulness. I titled the show Lighten Up, Let Go, How Acceptance Reignites Your Youthful Energy. So the whole thing that I want you to remember, and we talk about this every month, because every month we talk about youthfulness on the last week of the month. And every month I say the same thing, that youthfulness has nothing to do with your age. You could be youthful at 99 years old. I met a lady in here that was like, I think she's 91, she said. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she has such a youthful spirit. And she's got a lot of that curiosity in her. She's always asking questions, and you can tell that she just really is loving life for what it is. And so she has a very youthful way about her, a youthful spirit about her. Her name's Nora. She's such a beautiful woman. And then yet there's people that I've seen on the street that are 20 years old and they have no youthfulness to them. They're so serious, and there's no play. There's no curiosity. There's just by the book. And, life circumstance may make you feel like you need to be that way. But the truth of the matter is your life will be a whole heck of a lot easier and more peaceful if you're able to incorporate this pillar into your life. Okay. So when I'm talking about acceptance and, the kind of it being the gateway to playfulness, is acceptance means releasing the pressure of being perfect, productive, or all put together. Okay. I lived this for a very long time. In my 20s, I didn't even really think so much that I was trying to be put together, trying to be perfect, but I definitely was trying to be productive. And that led into my 30s, and it led into burnout, where I didn't have a full-on nervous breakdown, but boy, it was pretty darn close, that I did have to talk to my doctor about it. And that's where my journey into, therapy and questioning and all of the things. I had always been a professional and personal development junkie, but this is where it kind of like broke and was like, oh my gosh. And I did have play in my life, but I was a lot more concerned about my productivity. And once I realized that, once I'm like really focused on productivity and perfection, I'm able to quickly see like, okay, this is where I need to lighten up a little bit. This is where I need to kind of just relax and just be a part of the moment. And then I can get back into it. And it doesn't mean that you don't work or you don't work hard. It's just you don't get caught up in that minute perfectionism. And so once you accept where you are right now, who you are, where you are, and what life is throwing at you here, we access this freedom to be able to laugh, to be able to try new things, to be able to live in the moment and look at your situation a little bit differently. When we're super dead set on productivity or perfectionism or what are other people going to think, we get really tunnel visioned, and we have a really hard time in seeing other ways, in seeing a lighter side to life. And it's just true that life is what you think and what you believe. And it was interesting. I was having a conversation with my sister and today, and she was feeling like everybody was married, just everybody's married and she's not married. And I said, okay, that's fine. But the truth is that you're thinking, you're believing that everybody is married. And so you are seeing all the people that are married, and you're on Facebook and seeing all the people that are married. But the moment that you start thinking that, no, you know what, there's a lot of us that aren't married, then you're able to tap into it. And so when I said, why don't we think about some of the people that are our age or even older that are not married? And it was hard at the very beginning because she had this belief that everybody was married. And then immediately we started going into it and was like, well, you're not married. She's not married. She's not married. He's not married. He's not married. She's not married. And we ran out of fingers immediately within like 3 minutes of having this conversation. And these were all people that she loves, that she looks up to, that she thinks has a wonderful life. They travel, they have a good time, they do all these things. And they're not married. And so it's really, really fascinating that way that our brain is set up, that we will, whatever we focus on, we'll see more of. And so if we really are constantly seeing problems in the world, then we're going to see more problems in the world. If you're dead set on looking at politically, your side is the right side, is the only side, and this is what's happening, and this is how ugly everything is, or this is how whatever, you're going to see more of that. And so when we're able to accept where we are right now and lighten up and be open and curious and creative about seeing the world from a different lens, kids, they see a dirt pile and it's not a dirt pile. It turns into a castle, or it turns into something's hiding underneath. Let's go forage underneath and see what's under there. Their creativity sets in and they're able to see a very different world. And that's why they're able to be outside and play and enjoy for hours and hours, because they're not regimented into thinking the world is only one way, if that makes sense. So we need to start accepting, who we are right now, where we are, what our circumstances are. And once we accept that, we're able to move into a lighter version of ourselves. But it's not until we accept that we're able to give ourselves the grace to be able to do that. And there was a study, and I just made a note about this, that there was a study from the Journal of Happiness Studies, and it was in, I think, 2022. And it found that individuals with higher self-acceptance reported significantly more playfulness, spontaneity, and joy, even under stress. So today was a super, super heavy day. And yet we were able to, have a little bit of levity. We were able to joke around. We were able to do these things. And it's because we're accepting what's going on right now. We're accepting. I'm not 100% sure that my sister's completely accepting what's going on, or my mom, but I'm able to come at it a little bit lighter than I was months ago. I wasn't accepting it. And it was very, very heavy, and I wasn't able to bring the lightness to it. So, but it's still a constant reminder. That's why the happy framework is so important, and to do the pillars every day and the gratitude and all the things that we do, it's really important because we need that constant reminder. So there's a heavy, heavy cost of self-judgment, and the opposite of self-judgment is self-acceptance, right? And so when we are judging ourselves, it weighs us down, because we have this internal criticism or guilt or shame or a fear of just looking silly, of being playful, that blocks our joy. If we have this fear of looking silly, it's going to block us from being able to have these moments. And so actually a couple of days ago, I was in here and it was a really heavy day, and I came in and I was just sitting by myself, and there were crayons. And so they have these crayons here. But I didn't have any paper, and I was like, you know what, I want to color. And so they had a newspaper, and I think I showed this to you last week, actually, maybe. And I started coloring, and I didn't care. People were walking in and like kind of like smiling. And I was like, do you want to sit down? You can color with me. Just those little things. We're able to kind of like deal with stress a lot easier. And so acceptance also helps us interrupt that inner voice that tells us that you should act a certain way, act your age, you're too much, all of this. Once we accept who we are, who we really are, then we're able to kind of say, buck the trends, buck what people are saying that we should be at a certain age, and really live into our compassionate, loving being. So, I like to give you guys a couple tangible, actionable steps. One of the things that I wanted you to do, which is kind of fun. So, when you're in school, you would have to get like a permission slip signed that you're able to go on a field trip. You're able to, like, your parents had to be like, okay, yeah, they can go to Cedar Point for the week, for the day, or whatever. What I think would be fun is for you to literally write yourself a permission slip and sign it and say, today I give myself permission to, and whatever that is, to act silly, to be a little louder in the, when I go for my walk, to be playful, to dance in the rain. I give myself permission to look silly, to ask the question in the board meeting, even though it might make me look silly. I give myself permission to be curious. And sign it, and then go out into the world and into your day and do that thing that you want to do, that you feel like you need permission. Give it to yourself, write it down on a little piece of paper and sign it and hold it with you. Another thing that you can do to kind of like just open up and do something that's going to make you feel silly is just try something new. So it doesn't even have to be a silly thing. It can just be like, my sister wants to learn Spanish. And so she started here, even though, most people would be like, okay, just focus on your healing and all that. You can take the classes later. You can do the things later. She's like, no, I'm going to do Duolingo and just start learning Spanish. And shout out to one of our nurses, Alex. She's so awesome. Oh my gosh. So she was kind of like talking to her about like, what do you look forward to when you get out of here? And she loves traveling. And so Alex just got back from Spain. And so she shared all kinds of pictures with her. And Jennifer was like, well, I'm actually wanting to learn Spanish. She's like, okay, then plan a trip to Spain. And so they started talking about that. And so you're going to look silly. You're going to look silly because it's something new that you've never done before. And you've got to start accepting that, when you start something new, you're not going to know it all. Even though we believe that we're going to know it all, we're not going to know it all. And so that's kind of like an easy way into feeling silly, because then you're able to say, oh, well, I just don't know it. Like, I'm just, where when we do things that we should know, like jump the hopscotch on the street. A lot of people don't do that. If I see one, if a kid made one, hey man, I am jumping on it. I'm doing it. And, but we're like, oh, well, we shouldn't be doing that because we're too old, or we're too this, or we're too that. Or you're like, oh my gosh, I should know how to do this, but I haven't done it in like 40 years. So I don't want to do it. Do it. It's new for you now. Do it and look silly. So anyway, those are just some of the things. I'm going to come back to our conversation, see if any of you guys have commented, see if any of you guys are here. And then we're going to do a couple lightning round questions to kind of get things going and for me to get to know you a little bit better. Ooh, Pops is here. He made it. I was wondering, because Pops and Mel are married, and yeah. And so I usually see them. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked because I just got something that popped up that said that Rose was here, but now for some reason it came up like as a notification, but not in here that I can bring you up. So Rose, I'm sorry. If you are watching this, your comment's not going to be able to be a part of the show, but hi, because I did see it come up somewhere as a notification. So that's weird. Hopefully that gets fixed in the next little bit. But keep commenting, please. So what we're going to do is we are going to do some of our lightning round questions. And because I had ChatGPT do them, because as you guys know, I like to participate in them too. So I don't make the questions. I get him or her to write the questions for me so I can be a part of it. So here we go. Let's do these. So what's one silly thing that always makes you laugh? Did we have this conversation already? Because did I tell you guys that like I just have this like weird childish thing about farts, that like if I hear a farting noise, if somebody farts, if we talk about farts, I just like I snicker like a child, and it always makes me laugh. I feel like we had this conversation. Anyway, maybe we had it last month. Who knows? Anyway, so that's one of the things that like it doesn't matter what's happening. And so like, oh, God forbid you like fart in a quiet spot, I'm going to start snickering and I'll look at you and like, I won't make you feel bad, but like, I'll be laughing with you. Okay. So anyway, so that's mine. Oh wait, normally I do 3 questions. So let's do the 3 questions and then we'll come back and answer each one. As you're answering, don't answer all 3 of them together. Answer one, push enter, put it in there so you can be a part of the show. And then as you're typing, because it takes a little while for you to type, then you can do the next question. Okay. So the first one was, what's one silly thing that always makes you laugh? The second one was, when was the last time you played without a goal or outcome? Okay, I will answer that. And then the third one is, what did you love doing when you were 10? Okay. So let's see if any of you guys answered any of them. Oh, here we got, okay. So now they're all flooding in. That's weird. Okay, so Ramona's here. Hey, woman. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in so long. How are you doing? Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here. Okay, Pop says, Melanie's Betty Rubble giggle, probably at a fart. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. And Mel says, you were talking about laughing earlier. We laugh every day. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's so good. It's so soothing. Patrick says Cookie Monster, num, num, num. Oh, that's what makes you laugh all the time. That's awesome. Hey, Patrick, I'm so happy you're here. Oh, you guys, this is making me so happy. This is so awesome. Okay, Mel says, yes, farts, mine and Brit's 12-year-old, 12-year-old humor. Yeah, I know. I don't know, guys. Like, it's just funny. Okay, so 2. The last time I played with the dogs. Okay, so what was the answer? When was the last time you played without a goal or outcome? Okay, so Britt, thank you for answering it that way, because you're right. When I play with Gracie, there's no outcome, there's no goal. You're right. But the reason why I made the funny noise that I was like, how do I answer that, is because I actually don't know that there's very many times that I play anything without a goal or an outcome. Like I get very competitive very quickly. So I would have to say probably Mike and I, we have been getting in this habit that like we'll leave the condo and we'll just go for like a 10-minute walk. Just so we can get like some exercise and be outside in some sun. Even if we're working, we'll just take like a break and just go out there. And we've been bringing the football and just playing catch like as we're walking. So we've been able to do that without a goal or an outcome. Although sometimes I'm like, how many times can we do it without stopping or without dropping it? And so I do fall into that, but that would be mine. And then, and then the third one was, what did you love doing when you were 10? And Britt says, riding my bicycle. Awesome. 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 Patrick, what did you say? Patrick said, actually, my silly thing was making you say, he says, actually, my silly thing was making you say, num, 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 num. Well, way to go. You did it. Oh, man, I miss you, man. Okay, so Mel says number 2 was going outside every morning, just doing my devotion. That's awesome. That's really cool. And then she says number 3 was ride my bike when I was 10. Yeah. You know what? I loved I loved riding my bike when I was young and when I was 10. Another thing that I really liked that I think I was around 10 years old, is I used to make those bracelets, that you would do like braided bracelets with that like waxy stuff. I love doing that. I don't know why that came to my mind when they asked that question, but anyway, that's what popped up for me. Ramona, miss you too. Yeah, girl. Okay, so answer the questions, Ramona. So, what's one silly thing that always makes you smile or makes you laugh? When was the last time you played without a goal or outcome? And what did you love doing when you were 10? Okay, so I'm going to kind of look through because there's quite a few questions here and I only really have time to do one more. So now I do want to pick one that I think will be good answers. I mean, these are all good answers, but okay, this is kind of a fun one and I want you to think about it. So what's one thing people your age aren't supposed to do that you secretly love? What's one thing people your age aren't supposed to do that you secretly love? It's a good one. I want to think about it. Because I don't know, what would mine be? It's one thing that, because I have a hard time thinking about what we're supposed to do as an adult and what we're not supposed to do. You know what? I think for me, it would probably be people our age. I don't know. This is a hard one. Leanne, why did you pick this one? This is a difficult one. Maybe like we're not supposed to do at our age. Let's see what you guys are saying. Let's see what you guys are saying. I don't know. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Pop says, play my iRacing video game. Okay, that's fair. That's kind of an easy one. Yeah, I guess adults shouldn't be playing video games, but Mike loves his video games. He really does. You know what? Maybe then mine would be coloring, because now they have like adult coloring books, which is that like mandala or whatever it's called. It's like all these like little intricate things, like, so it makes it a little bit harder so then adults can do it without feeling silly. I don't like those. My sister loves them. She's excellent at them. She's so intricate when she's doing them. I don't enjoy them. That doesn't bring me joy. Adult coloring is not fun for me, but big animated pictures, I love coloring those. I told you guys we have a Garfield coloring book that I go out on my balcony and I sit out there just for a few minutes and I just color and I'm in my glory. I absolutely love it. And now I'm using crayons because I really like I like using crayons. Yeah, so that I think would be mine. Okay, so you got a little insight into the way my brain works. It's a little slow today, but that's fun. Mel says, my friends and I had a mock lady dye wedding. Oh my gosh, that's fun. That's so cool. Oh gosh, okay. Can I do some movement so then the lights will come on? No. Okay, that's a bummer. So Patrick says, I can't answer number 3 until that statute of limitations ends. What was number 3? What did you love doing when you were 10? Oh, God. Okay, Patrick. So Ramona says, when people do silly things, okay, that's fair. So did you love that show, America's Funniest Home Videos? And it was always like these like silly things that people were like falling and doing all these things. I know it's not like that should not bring us joy, but that makes me laugh hysterically. Number 2, can't remember the question. Fair. Thank you for being honest. The question was, when was the last time that you played without a goal or an outcome? And then Ramona says at number 3, spending time with horses. Okay. So that was, what did you love doing when you were 10? So do you get back out there? Have you done any like riding of horses recently? I'd be curious. Okay. So Pop says, and yes, I've been racing a bit lately. Nice. That's awesome. 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 Mel says, that's a tough one. Go to the store without my bra on. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for your honesty. And yeah, I guess maybe we're not supposed to be doing that. I don't know. Okay. Mel. Oh, you're so awesome. And then Pops, I don't know. I don't know what that face is. There's a face in there. I don't know if he's laughing or if he's worried or what. Ramona says, absolutely. Okay, so what is absolutely? Does that mean that you are doing things with horses still? Or are you absoluting that you still go to the store, or you're going to the store without your bra on? Okay. So Ramona says, yes, I have, and I'm getting back into it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's so good. One of my girlfriends, she actually I don't know if she bought the horse or she rents the horse or if she just takes care of the horse. But anyway, her and her daughter, I think the whole family does it, but it's like kind of really for her and her daughter. They've been doing it for the last year, and she said it's so soothing. It's totally her happy place. So that's awesome. Pop says he's laughing hysterically. Okay, fair enough. That's awesome. Okay. The other thing, okay, so there was one more thing because I made a note, and now I'm trying to think about like why I wanted to tell you guys that. When I was talking, I made a note and I said, okay. So what I said was that I used to dance in the corner. And why did I want to tell you that? Oh, probably because of the whole judgment piece, that when we have self-judgment, we block our joy and we block kind of like our ability to be playful. And I love dancing, absolutely love it. And we used to go to the bar Thursday, like when we were in our 20s, we would go to the bar Thursday night. Thursday night was the university, the pub. Friday night, we'd go downtown. I can't remember. That was, I think, like a free for all, like whatever bar we ended up going to. And then, so anyway, you guys don't care what bars we went to. So anyway, we used to go to the bar Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, 4 nights a week. Sometimes we would go on Tuesday, but always Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we would go and we would go dancing. And I specifically remember that if I was in a spot where people were watching me and I was paying attention, like maybe there was a cute boy, or maybe there were people like from my school or from like whatever, that were around, and I started getting in my head and started feeling that I was like self-judging myself, like, oh, I can't dance, I'm not a good dancer or whatever. I remember it would be almost hard to move. Like I wouldn't be able to get into the groove. It would just be like this like weird movement for the music. And I remember specifically, I would have to kind of close my eyes, and it probably looks silly, but I don't care. I would literally have to close my eyes and just listen to the music and not pay attention to anybody around myself. So some of my favorite times were at this bar. It was called The Loop, and it was this dive bar, but it was always packed. The dance floor was always packed. And I probably have because I do have some hearing problems, and it's probably because of this, because Saturday nights and Sunday nights for a few years anyway, every single week, we would go to this bar. I would go dancing, but I had so much self-judgment, but I wanted to get my dancing in, and I would dance for like 4 hours. I would get there at like 10 and I would dance until 2 or 2:30 until they closed. I would go to the very front of this bar where the speaker was, where nobody was dancing, and I would dance right there. And the reason why I danced there is because nobody wanted to come close because it was so loud and so vibrating and stuff. So then I could be in this little cubby. There was like a stage. It was how do I show you? There was like the stage here. There was the DJ bar here. And there was the speaker here. So there was really only this little cubby that only like 2 or 3 people could be in. And I would always dance there because then people couldn't see me, or I thought, and I could just dance as if nobody was watching. And that allowed me to have so much joy, get through university, all the stress of school and responsibilities and everything, because I just let loose. But I knew that I would self-judge. At that time, I really wasn't doing the work of therapy and deep down, like, why don't you want to be seen? Blah, blah, blah. Instead, I just figured out how can I make this work for myself? And I found places where I could dance, be with everybody else, but then get over that. And so the reason why I wanted to share that with you is because I think we need to do that. We need to think about, like, what are the things that we want to do that are going to bring us joy, that are going to bring us that light playfulness, that curiosity. And then how do we get out of our head? So there are strategies for you to be able to work on the blocks that are holding you back. But until you're able to, like, do the work, maybe you're not up to doing the work, and doing the work is like getting in there and asking, like, when was the first time that I had this feeling, and where do we think this came from? And like all of these kinds of things, and then reframing it and all this kind of stuff. I think it's really important that we do that. But also sometimes it's just a matter of doing that. Find a place that you can do it, that you feel comfortable and safe, and then do the thing. And so if you want to be doing like the iRacing, I think that's excellent. But if you are feeling that there's like shame around it, or you shouldn't be doing it, or you don't want to do it, you go anonymous. You don't have to put your name out there. Be anonymous and just do the thing that brings you joy. I know that's not the case with you, Britt, but do the thing that you love, even if you have to do it in a roundabout way that gets you over your hang up about it, So anyway, that was so long-winded. I meant for that to be a lot less. But anyway, it is what it is. Ramona says, no, never going anywhere without a bra. I know, you know what? I don't think I do either. I even feel like if I'm wearing a sports bra and I'm not working out and I'm going to like the grocery store or whatever, I feel even at that point, I'm like, ugh, is this acceptable? Or I just don't feel comfortable. I don't even care about it being acceptable. I just don't feel comfortable. But kudos to you, Mel. Go for it. That's amazing. Mel says, yes, I love teen night at the club. Teen night at the club? Was that like when you could go as a teen, or did they have music that they would play when you were the teen? What was that? Anyway, explain that to me, because it sounds fascinating either way. Patrick says, that's where you stomp on your friend's foot so they dance worse than you do. I mean, hey, that would work too. I actually probably stomped on my friend's foot many times just because I was such a bad dancer, but I loved it. Mel says, did you think you looked like Elaine from Seinfeld? I've seen you dance and you're awesome. Thank you. Yeah, here's the thing. I had a lot of friends that were good at I don't know what the word is, but like sexy dancing, and that they just looked so like sexy. I never looked like that. I sweat like a pig. Although do pigs sweat? I don't know where that saying comes from. Anyway, I sweat as if it's like a humid August day, even if it was like December. And I just felt like I'm always in my own kind of thing. I also dance to the bass, which I realized later on. I was like, oh, that's why I look different when I'm dancing, because a lot of people don't dance to the bass part of it. They'll dance to the I don't know. I'm not musically inclined, but I'm dancing to this part down here, and a lot of people are dancing to the song, like the lyrics and whatever that top layer is. So that's why I feel like I looked weird. I don't even know. It's funny. People would say that, or they would talk about the Elaine dance, and I would look at Elaine and I'd be like, oh my God, but she looks like she's having so much fun. I don't even look like that. So I felt like I looked even worse than Elaine. I'm gonna have to put that on my list for my therapist, so then we can talk about that and see what happened there. And then Patrick says, or that's where you're supposed to stomp on your friend's foot so they do. Oh, okay. So you're just fixing that. And then he says, and that corner was streamed downstairs at the Coach and Horses on the closed caption TV. Good thing I didn't know that. I wouldn't be surprised. That's why everybody looked at me weird when I was going downstairs to leave. That's so funny. Mel says, yes, teen night was every Thursday night for the high school aged crowd. Oh, that's so fun. That's so cool. I remember we used to go downtown We didn't have a club like that. But it was called Fast Eddie's, and it was like this arcade. It was a two level arcade. And we just felt so cool because we could go down there and there would be older people that were going, before the bar, and they would go and play the games, but we were allowed because it was a teenage kind of place. So that was my thing on that. Anyway, Mel says, I can't believe my parents agreed I could go. Isn't that awesome? Well, thanks, parents. That is really, really cool. Okay, you guys. Well, we're well over, which is exciting. I loved this conversation. I love you guys being a part of it. So please come back every Wednesday live. Bring a friend with you so we can have more conversations like this. It's wonderful. Mel says, that was the 80s. You weren't born yet. Lady, I was born in 1980. So I am definitely an 80s kid. Although, do we say like when you're like an 80s, does that mean that you were like born in the 80s, or is it more of when you were a teenager? Because I feel like I resonate more with the 90s, even though I was born in the 80s. So curious about how that works. Anyway, laughing. Thank you. I love you guys. Okay, so anyway, so this was excellent. You guys are amazing. You guys totally make the show. I can't wait to see you guys next week. We'll have a new series. I'm torn. I've been doing a lot of like soul searching, which sounds weird, but like what I want the series to be. Inside of our happy circle, we're doing the book Do Less. And I'm thinking that may be what we'll do for the series for next month, for July, is kind of like slowing down, how kind of just like being, Patrick says, either way, you're old. All right. Yeah, I'll take that. And I'm like, I want to be the youngest old person that you ever know. So I want to be 103 and I want to still feel young. So I feel young right now, Patrick, even though you always remind me that I'm an old lady. So I'm debating. I mean, it's either going to be like a theme around do less, a theme around homecoming, kind of like coming home to yourself and like really tapping into who we are and who we're meant to be. And I think that one sounds really, really exciting. I've been doing a lot of like work around that because happiness really that's our default. And I think that might be a really good one. And then the other thing that I was thinking is maybe doing, instead of a theme, I was thinking about maybe doing each month we could do around the zodiac sign. So like, I don't even know what this one is, but we could do like, so I'm a Virgo. And so through the 4 weeks of the Virgo sign, we could do Virgo and how that like plays into all of the pillars. I don't know. I know nothing about horoscopes, zodiac, any of that kind of stuff, but I'm always intrigued. So I thought that might be like a fun learning thing for us. And either we do it for the entire year, and so it'd be every month, or we just do it for the first couple months and see how it goes. And if it's like super boring, then we don't do it. I don't know. So we'll see. But if you have any suggestions, you can comment on here and you can let me know what you think our next couple themes should be. Or you can email me, the Friend Leigh, Leigh is spelled Leigh, show@gmail.com. And Ramona says, I think we became proper as we aged. And at some point we realized we're no longer living the life that used to bring us joy. I would say that at the age of 35, 36, I realized I missed the things I used to do and contemplated changing my habits. To be continued, but positive outcome. I love that. Yes, that is everything. Welcome to the happy show. Like, you guys, that's what it's all about. It's all about tapping into that. And that's why I've said this on the show before. When I was developing the framework, youthfulness, I felt weird adding it. I knew it was really important, but I was like, oh, is that going to make it kind of cheesy? Is it going to make it that people aren't going to really take this seriously? Because it is so good. The framework is so powerful. And the more that people work with it, the more I'm realizing that the youthfulness piece is the most important piece. Health is important, affection for yourself, our partnerships, our purpose, all of it is important. But if we don't have this youthful piece, if we don't have this where we tap into what used to bring us joy, just like Ramona is saying, if we if we don't tap into what used to bring us joy, it's going to be really hard for us to be able to kind of uncover all that happiness that lives inside of us. So that was beautifully said, Ramona. I hope you come back next week. I love you guys so, so much. And want to have a happy and healthy week. Love you. Wait, is it? Hold on one second before I go. Yes. Okay. So I will see you guys before July 4th, but to all my Canadian friends, happy Canada Day, because I won't see you until the 2nd. So happy Canada Day. And then we'll see you on the 2nd. Love you. Love you. You have a blessed week too, Britt. Okay. Bye guys.